All right, somebody from my neighborhood. Hi, Mary, Alexandria. Great, welcome everybody. So as you come in, you can get settled. We are recording for today as we go through this presentation. And so as we this will be available as a recording on our YouTube channel for each of you to have access to. I love this, making some connections for those who are in the same vicinity. And wow, we've got international connections as well. Welcome, Kurt from New Zealand. What time is it in New Zealand, Kurt? Is it morning there right now? It might be. I think it's early in the morning over there. Connecticut and on. Well, as people come in, go ahead and give a shout out. If you see somebody that's familiar to your location, feel free to give them a shout out as well. That's what we are here at Diversity in Aquatics. We are about creating some inclusion and connections. It's afternoon, okay, and connections with one another one another in this space. And I really want to thank each of you for being here for today. This is our first quarter all membership meeting. This is something that you will see from the organization that the board as well as our councils have discussed in making further connections from all over the globe. As you can see, we are internationally connected in this space together. I am just so pleased to be here with you all. My name is Miriam Lynch. I serve as the executive director of this amazing organization. We're going to go through some introductions of who we are and introductions of our board members, those who are present, as well as our councils today. So we're going to go officially and kick things off. But if you aren't connected to us, please, please, please make sure to go and follow us on all social media platforms. We have an amazing team behind our social media that is been working in the background to get everyone connected with information as we go forward in this space. So we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. But first, I want to start with land acknowledgements. If you haven't yet, one thing for us in Diversity in Aquatics, we want to make sure to acknowledge the land in which we are standing. All of us from all over the world are here connecting, and each of us come from different spaces, and we want to honor the spaces in which we are standing on today. So for us in Diversity in Aquatics, one of the things that we do as an organization is we always start with land acknowledgements. And land acknowledgements are really important to making that connection to and gratitude to the people and the earth. And so for me, I'm in Washington, D.C., so I acknowledge the land in which I stand on. For those, if you're not familiar of the land in which you stand on and the location of where you stand on, if you go to native-land.ca, and I'll have Adrian put that in the chat, native-land.ca, you can find out what Indigenous tribal organizations are part of the land in which you stand on. And many of us here, we've done this many times before as an organization to do that and build community. So just a moment for you to go and have that as a piece of where we are right now. Thank you for putting in the chat. Okay. So for us here at Diversity in Aquatics, not only are we acknowledging the land in which we are standing on, We are a part of 3 prongs. We work. Thank you, Dr. Lepore, the Lanai Lenape people. And actually in the UN, I didn't realize how expansive that tribe was, all the way from New York, all the way down to the Delaware Peninsula. But not only are we acknowledging and honoring that, and if you want to put in the chat as you go through and find out where you're, the native land in which you're standing on, feel free to share that in our chat. We also work to educate, promote, and support aquatic programming and water safety in this space. And so for us, you'll hear about some of the programs from our council chairs that we are involved in and that we are doing in this space as we go through and work towards creating more water safer environments, connecting to the climate, and also creating more opportunities. Okay. So all of the work that we do always starts with the why. Why are we here? There's 3 prongs that we are working on this year in 2023 as we go forward. And this was developed because an initiative that you'll hear about on May 6th that we're doing out in LA. But we're here to promote water safety. We're here to do the research and to educate. And we're also here to amplify access to aquatics. And I'm really proud of the work that we are doing. But we also want to hear from you in this space as well to see what is your why. There we go. So as we go through the chat, and I love this, Piscataway, the Seminole Tribes of Florida, thank you. The coast sailfish. What is your why? What's your why to being involved with diversity, equity, and inclusion? How are we, and finding out that sense of belonging from each of us, what's your why to fulfilling also our why in this space? And again, our presentations, whenever we do this, is about making those connections. So you heard about our why for us, Diversity in Aquatics. We know what the statistics are. We know where we are with the disparities in aquatics, but on all levels. It's not just the drowning statistics, but we also talk about participation, and we also talk about leadership. One thing for us at Diversity in Aquatics, we're probably the most diverse membership in aquatics, and that's because of you, our members. And so, but why are you in this space? What do you want to do to make that change? So go ahead right now and put in your why into our chat, and let's build community here. Oh, I love that. Absolutely, Scott. Yes, we want the pools where we are. Yes, spreading the word. Love that. Thank you. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing that. Thank you, Susan, for sharing that as well. Absolutely, Thaddeus. Thank you for opening with that, Michael. Mike. Michelle, welcome from the Outer Banks. I'm gonna give a few more minutes if anybody else would like to share their why with the group. And as you see others' whys and you identify with them, feel free to give them in the chat, thumbs up or me too's. That's where I feel in this space and making those connections. Because I will tell you, when I first started with Diversity in Aquatics, this has become a family. And I think our aquatics chairs would agree to that it is more than just being in this space, but it's about the support that we can provide one another. Because this work is not easy that we are trying to all do. So Karen, thank you for sharing that. Universal water competency, strong swim skills, and zero drownings. Absolutely. You know, drownings is a public health issue, and we're working here to address it globally, but also locally in our spaces. Yeah, Michelle, I get you. Hunter, yep, the world is 71% water. We should be a part of it. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about the work that we just did last weekend in addressing that. Yes, because we can. All of us have this beautiful skill that are in this space. Oh, I love that. Yeah. There are so many beaches, and yet people have not set foot in the stand. We had a beautiful opportunity a couple of years ago to go out to LA, and the same thing. We were talking about that many kids don't have the chance to go to the Pacific Ocean, the beaches right there. And so how do we change that? And that's what we're gonna have a chance to talk about those things here today. Continue to share groups, continue to share your whys as we go throughout and make those connections with each other. Thank you, Norm, for sharing that. Thank you, Norman. A huge one, and we acknowledge the history that has made the impact. And that's for us at Diversity in Aquatics. We don't lead with the disparities because we understand the history of what's made an impact. And that's why language is so important to us as an organization. But I do want to say, you know, this work isn't being done alone. And just connect you to some of the people that are in this space. And if any of my board would like to say hello on the to the group, we are led by an amazing board of directors in which we stand on shoulders of our starting board members that you see up on the screen. And so I'll give them a chance if they want to say hello to the group.
Make a sandwich at home.
Good evening, everyone. This is Tara Eggleston Stewart. Sorry, in the car on my way back home from swim lessons. My little 4-year-old just finished swim lessons. But good evening. It's good to see you all.
Thank you, Tara.
Hello, this is Newton Jackson, and I also am in a car, but it's great to see all these faces and names here. And hopefully we can all continue to work together for the common cause. Thank you.
Hey everybody, Roderick Thompson, board member. I also serve as general counsel for Diversity in Aquatics. And as always, I feel honored to be in such a safe space for all of us folks who take diversity in aquatics so seriously. Thanks for having me.
As well as.
Hi, everyone.
There we go. Yep, go for it.
Stephanie Elam here. Sorry, I've just come off of the mountain talking about how much snow there is because I'm also a CNN correspondent. But I also swam for Howard University, and I've been swimming all my life. And I want everyone to be able to enjoy the water as much as we do. And that is why we are so glad that you all are here with us. So thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you, Stephanie. And in the chat, I saw Scenario also said hello, and she is one of our newest board members who is a part of our group. So thank you all. The work that we do here at Diversity in Aquatics is driven by our membership, but it is also a way for you to connect through our aquatic councils. And so our aquatic councils are our link between grassroots efforts to the national efforts that happen on a larger scale. And so for us is that we have several different councils that are a part of our organization that help us stay connected in those ways as I described. And I want to give a chance to our aquatic councils, those who are here, to be able to, you don't have to turn on your camera if you don't want to, but just a chance for the connection to our audience, because this is our first meeting and wanting to put a face with the name or a name to the mission that is being done. And I'm going to start with the Adapted Aquatics Council. And Dr. Lepore.
Hi, everybody. I'm Monica Lepore. I'm currently in North Wilmington, Delaware, and I am retired from Westchester University of PA, where I was a professor for 37 years. And I enjoy working with Adrian Wesley, and we do a monthly roundtable. And our next thing that we're going to be up with is to put together some thoughts on bringing the Adapted Aquatics group into the International Water Safety Day.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And Dr. Lepore will highlight the programs. The Adapted Council has been doing a number of amazing things that you'll have a chance to connect with the Adapted Council while you're here on this call today, to learn more about their programs and how you can become involved with the work that both Adrian and Dr. Lepore are doing in this space. Dr. Nolan Rawlings could not be here. He is also in sports travel with his young ones. He is our chair for the HBCU, HSI, and Tribal Council. He is a professor at Delaware State. They've done a number of works within the HBCU, HSI, and Tribal Council. And if you don't know what HBCU stands for, it stands for Historically Black Colleges and University. HSI stands for Hispanic Serving Institutions, and then of course our tribal institutions. And we had a little spell. Tribal Council, and what they've been doing is making sustainable programming in this space. Also, as a part of our programming, we have our Research Council, who all of our work stands on research, and that's led by Dr. Angela Beal Tafiq. She's also a board member as part of Diversity in Aquatics. And a lot of the research, if you ever have a chance, if you look at our website, we have put 2 special journals out and are getting ready for our 3rd special journal in partnership with what we call a JARI, which is the International Journal of Aquatic Research and Education. And we have been leading the forefront in doing DEI research, especially on communities that have been historically marginalized in this space, and highlighting the voices from the field, as well as a different narrative on policies and programs for DEI. So as you go and do advocacy work in your field, this would be a great resource for you to use some of the articles in moving forward. We also have our rowing council that's led by Brannon Johnson. She is out of Philadelphia. We highlighted her through our Women's History Month. She is one of the only Black female owned rowing houses that is in Philadelphia. She is doing amazing work to tie in universities, surrounding universities, and her community into rowing. We also have, as a part of our organization, is our Scuba Council, led by Mr. Ernesto Vega, who is in South Florida, who is doing work in that space. For the Scuba Council, you'll actually in May see him go live underwater. He got invited to, there's a year-round project in where there's individuals who are living underwater. And so through our social media, we'll be going live and we'll be promoting that on our social media channels coming up. We also have our Swimming Council. This is probably our largest council with Mr. Raheem Booth, and where they talk all the things from learn to swim to competitive swim in that space. Okay, and the work being done there. If you would like to get involved, and as you see, as I highlight these councils, you can connect to them through those email addresses. And then I realize with Norman, I see you here. You want to say hello to the group? Oh. I think you're muted.
Norm Sievers, I'm in Weston, Florida. 30 years in corporate training, retired as a vice president of the community college here. Swimming is obviously one of the big hurdles to triathlon. So we've decided that the best niche for the Triathlon Council is really adult learn to swim. We're doing a lot of work in that area, and privileged to be a part of this. Thanks everyone. Looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you so much, Norman. Appreciate it. And amazing advocacy work being done by our Triathlon Council in this space. I also like to highlight our Wellness Council, which is led by Miss Julia Spann and Mr. Thaddeus Gamry. And I know I see Thaddeus on our call. You want to give a highlight?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Lynch, and good to see everyone here. And one of the connections to water that I have made over the course of my life is that to find out how deeply water is a healing element when you can access it safely and competently, and there's a deeper benefit. So the Wellness Council supports all the activities such as the weekly mindful beach meditation that we do down at the historically Black beach in Broward County, the Don V. Mizell, Eula Johnson Clark Beach, the quarterly mindful beach cleanup that we do with a collection of collaborators, including AHAM Education and the Southeastern Climate and Energy Network. And we also support the Diversity in Aquatics Master's Program, the Adult Learn to Swim program that's trauma-informed, anxiety-sensitive, culturally competent, historically accurate, and with a lens toward restoring ancient practices and relationships to water. So the Wellness Council weaves its way through all of this and connects all of the aquatic activities with a lens toward personal and community wellness and health and growth. So join us if you're ever in Florida. And for those in Florida, come on back if we haven't seen you in a while.
Amazing. The Wellness Council, as that is, and many of our councils, what we do, and just to kind of let you know what the cadence is for our councils, we meet on a monthly basis during this time of the evening. So please feel free to connect to our councils using the email addresses that you see. I put the Triathlon Council's email into our chat. that you can be able to connect with them, see when they're meeting. I know that our adapted council meets every other month. Our other councils are meeting frequently, at least once per quarter, if you'd like to get involved. If you'd like to start a council, we'd love to have you as a part of our family here at Diversity in Aquatics. Again, as we said, this is a membership-driven organization. And so if there's something, as you hear, councils, yes, they are listed on the website. But as you hear of a council, like, hey, I would love to see more of this type of council, feel free to submit a nomination for a council, and we review it as a board as well as a aquatic council group. That's how we actually started with our wellness council. This came through a nomination that the wellness council was something, it was important to the cause of diversity in aquatics to add that element, as Thaddeus highlighted, strung throughout all aquatic entities, as well as our adapted council started this way through the nomination done by Adrian Wesley and Dr. Lepore, who also submitted that as being a part of an important element that we need to have strung throughout all of aquatics in this space. Our aquatic councils work as a collaborative group to counsel one another, mentor one another, and also do programs with one another. One of our big programs we did in December was our HBCU celebration swim meet, as we did as a collaborative council group. So thank you to that. And if you would like to get involved, that is the link. Okay, so moving on. Does anybody have any questions so far as we go throughout? And if you have questions, feel free to put them into the chat. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to give a chance for those who are here from the councils to give their updates, what's been happening with their council, what they've been doing. We're going to highlight also some partners and programs. We're going to talk about how to get involved and any of our upcoming events, and then finish out with the closing, where we want to hear from you. What do you want to see as part of our membership meetings as we go forward in this space? So getting a chance for our councils, I'm going to start with Dr. Lepore. I know you highlighted a little bit earlier some of the work, but talking about some of the other things that you did, that you've done this year, and where you guys are going in the future for the Adapted Council.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lynch. Adrian and I collaborate and figure out what are some of the things that we're going to discuss at our monthly roundtable meetings. And some of them have to do with the calendar, like, you know, getting ready for International Water Safety Day, or we were lucky that we were able to do the Facebook Live. So we made that our meeting for the month. But we are still trying to work on identifying people that will be committed to this mission. And we've struggled with that a little. We had a really hefty, solid group who made it through about the first 18 months of the council's starting. And then we haven't been so successful in finding people who will stick with the mission. So I think that for the rest of the year, we are trying to identify people that will not only join us in a monthly roundtable, but will do the work that's needed to educate and empower aquatic instructors to pick up this mission, and also families to come out and realize that their kids with disabilities, you know, can get educated in aquatics and everything around aquatics. So that's where we are right now, trying to identify more people. And we're doing that through, you know, people who participate at a high level in these monthly roundtables, we're starting to glean glean people from that. The other thing is that we're still continuing to work on a project that we didn't complete last year, which is putting together program lists of programs, swimming program for people with disabilities around the country that meet the mission of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so that has been our most difficult task. We came up with a rubric about how we would identify programs, and then we were not able to come up with clear answers on how do we say that a program meets Diversity in Aquatics mission. I mean, it is easy to do that, but we had a lot of programs that would fill out an application to be part of this, program list. But when you get to the question, please put your diversity, equity, and inclusion statement, there was none, and therefore you couldn't fill out the rest of the Google form. And we kind of got stuck with all these people applying and them not knowing they had a diversity, equity, inclusion statement, or they didn't. So we have to kind of go back to the drawing board on that and see how we could maybe do better about identifying programs through the country that, a parent says, I really want to bring my child with a disability to a swim program, learn how to swim, but I'm not sure if it's a safe space for us because we have the intersection of a variety of other marginalized pieces in our life. So that's where we're kind of headed. And thank you for the platform to share that.
Awesome. Thank you. And that work is forward where that they are doing, and it's been a great informational. If you didn't see it, it's been posted on our social media, what to look forward in an adaptive program. So as you are doing work in your community and you're looking for how to get what should families and communities look for in adaptive programming, make sure to check out that. It's on our Instagram for everyone to access in this space. I'm going to go next to Norman, just because of how it is in our windows. Norman, updates from the Triathlon Council.
Okay. Well, as I said, we feel like we could be the most help with either brand new triathletes, first year triathletes, newbie triathletes, because of the issue of swimming and working on the adult learn to swim. That's a nice fit. What I really need to do is establish that a monthly meeting or some kind of regular meeting like some of the other chairs have done, and build kind of a working group. We haven't done that very well. We've done pretty well in South Florida, moving that mission forward, moving that initiative forward. But we really need to do a monthly meeting. And then we could have some information we could share with other folks who are working with new triathletes or come across new first year triathletes. So that's the direction we're going to be heading in this year.
Absolutely. I do want to say too, well, Norman, he's very humble, but they did a big initiative recently with the help of Dr. Lepore towards advocacy in the world of triathlon. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but working with them, and I'll let you, Norman, if you want to highlight just the letter of advocacy being in this space and the power of that.
I think Thaddeus might do a better job of that. Would you mind if I let him lead on that? We really kind of co-chair the Tri Council. Thaddeus, could you talk on that a bit?
Say the question again, Miriam. And sure, I'd like to. Yeah.
the advocacy and the letter that you wrote to the World of Triathlon and US Triathlon over the gear that was worn for races, in support of one of our fellow members.
Kadisha, that is Kadisha Diggs.
Oh, yeah. So because she's practicing a Muslim and wears a hijab, she was able to compete without having any penalties or violate competition rules and open that up. And she is an excellent athlete, performing at a very high level, considering that she doesn't get an advantage from the apparel that she wears. So it was a pretty cool that was done. Was there another question about?
Miriam, I think Miriam, it did show the power of us speaking up and quickly responding and supporting her, and the change she had, that she needed happened right away. It wasn't a month, wasn't a week. I mean, it was almost immediate. Hey, we see this issue, we're going to fix it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the powers of being, our membership does speak. And I want to just advocate again and just reemphasize that we are a membership driven organization. Each of us on the board or being a council, we all are members in this space, and here to support one another, and things like that. There are a number of things that have happened, and that for us at Diversity in Aquatics as a board that we have gone behind, and to say that you are there's strength in the numbers and support for one another in this space. So that was just one. I do want to just say thank you to Dr. Lepore for making the connections, and then both Norman and Thaddeus being a part of the team to make sure that she was supported in that space, so that she wasn't alone in that advocacy. Okay, I'm gonna go next to, we were talking with Thaddeus. I wanted Thaddeus, go ahead. Some of the highlights that have been done from your space, and there's so many here that you can share. So I'll let you go.
If you can see the image behind me, this is a view from the historically Black beach in Broward County, Florida, which we have some of our members that are on this call that when they were children, this was the beach that they had to go to. This is the Don V. Mizell Eula Johnson Clark State Beach. It was just changed. The name was changed 7 years ago or so to honor the civil rights leaders that did the wade-ins in Fort Lauderdale Beach. The wade-ins actually coincided with the growth of spring break. So this is a history people don't understand or know enough about. The wade-ins started at the same time that a movie called Where the Boys Are was released, and was very popular, and it was part of what really fueled the growth of spring break, the phenomena. So when the wade-in started, they quickly said, okay, we're going to give you a beach over here, because they didn't have access to a beach in Broward County for 8 years. 8 years, they had no access. So we started to do our beach meditations on this beach, and we started to collaborate with a collection of other people, including AHAM Education, which is a mindfulness-based organization, Southeastern Climate Energy Network, the Broward County Children's Services Council. There was, I might be mixed, and of course, Diversity in Aquatics. We were the lead organization to start doing these beach meditations. And then that got us an invitation with AHAM Education as the lead to attend the UN. So we actually attended the UN. I'm going to change my background. So we were part of a delegation that just returned from New York City. I returned actually on Monday, but it was last week that there was a water conference, the first in 46 years, and it was global leaders and NGOs and government entities and private educators and all sorts of people. And we were able to present around the specific topic of relationship with water and how to increase a good stewardship in water and to have people caring for and more advocates around caring for water, its quality, its cleanliness, its access, that there needs to be a restoration of the ancient and relationships and cultures and practices related to water. When you're close enough to water and you can smell it, to ocean or open bodies of water, but you don't access it, it's not something you do, then there's a problem. There's a disconnect. So we were able to do a presentation. We were hosted at several sites around the UN. It was an amazing time, inspirational, and a lot more is going to come from it. We had other people from South Carolina and indigenous representatives. We had people from North Carolina, of course, Diversity in Aquatics, and I forget the names of the other organizations that was there. But we were one of the few. There was one other organization that had an aquatic background, but we were one of the few that were really talking about this specific theme of water safety, learning to swim, having access to water as a means of restoring relationships to increase the advocacy for taking care of water and to help the movement around water, that it's a global movement. And Miriam, prompt me if I left anything out, or if there's anything else. And I'll let you speak to your own, part in that. Miriam actually, she was okay. I'm going to tell him. Miriam was actually the moderator for one of the panels, and it was an amazing job. We had an amazing experience with our panel. It was Kathleen Dean, the director of Wade in the Water, Drowning and Racism film. It was Dr. Carol Penn from the Center for Mind Body Medicine and Penn Global. It was Dr. Sean Anderson on the panel, and myself. We had one panel. So and it was an amazing experience, and we will continue the work. We had a positive impact. Some of the folks we talked to, we've even was able to make contact with someone from the World Health Organization and speak about this specific angle of water safety and learning to swim and relationship to water as a missing ingredient in this movement. And he got it instantly. He got it instantly and said, wow, yeah. They had a collection of students also that were attending in the UN, and they got it. They got it instantly. And that's my report on that. Was there something else, Miriam, you wanted me to report on?
Yeah, I thank you, Thaddeus, for those kind words. And as we go through these spaces, so I saw Susan, thank you for actually you prompted for Thaddeus and the work that is being done in our partnership with the organizations that he mentioned, is that we realize that there are distinct relationships in this space between those entities and what the advocacy was being done at the UN and highlighting the relationships in that space. And so absolutely, I say, like I said, this is a membership driven organization. If you feel like, hey, is there a council? No, we don't have one yet on that. Submit for one. And we go through that process. And like I said, that's how we formed two amazing councils that we have, and we do the practices from those councils throughout all of our different areas. And so our membership speaks. You are the ones who are telling us what is needed in this space, because you're on the groundwork. You're in the communities in which we want to approach and work with. So thank you for that piece. And And so, yeah, absolutely. So I'll let you cue it up, Thaddeus, for what that work looks like to showcase the beach cleanup. But I'll talk a little bit more about the work also that we're doing that's really important in this space. And if you want to get involved, our next with the HBCU, HSI, and tribal councils, and what they are doing in this space as well is that we're talking about sustainable aquatics. And that's what we're trying to do in communities. We're not just doing things that we're one-off going to do like a water safety day and leaving. All of the things that we do we want to make a lasting impact in the spaces in which we occupy. And these are also ways for you to get involved. We've gotten, I think, since our HBCU Celebration Bowl swim meet, Morehouse was an empty pool. Morehouse College is where it was. We had it last year, December 15th and 16th. And by the way, please put on your calendars December 16th and 17th this year, because we're going to go back to Morehouse. But it's been, I've seen a number of programs flourish in that space. And I see one of our council chairs, she was able to join us. She was in class. Adrian Wesley, do you want to highlight that while Thaddeus cues up the beach med cleanup video? She was able to. She might be still coming out of class. But there's programs there, or Dr. Ashira Allen, I know you've been involved in that as well. If you want to highlight that program.
Hey everybody. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Yeah, so I'm here in Atlanta and work closely with Adrian, and just to highlight some of the great things she's been doing with Sensory H2O and Swim Life Fitness. She's been hosting workshops and clinics at Morehouse pools. She does her program out of that pool and other pools in Atlanta area. I've also had the opportunity to work with her. We did a Swim 1922 and helped with the instruction for that program maybe like 2 weeks ago. And with my LLC, My Swim Village, I'm doing a Swim for Fitness program out of that pool. So yeah, Morehouse is getting a lot of attention, and so we want to just keep the momentum going and spread it to as many HBCUs as possible. And so yeah, that's just some of the things that's been going on. If she's able to get on, she can tell you more, but she's doing great things. So yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's also what has been a part of what we've done at Texas Southern University. Formerly, the pool was closed to the public. Now they have a full swim team that has a wait list roster. You've heard about what's happening at Morehouse, and that continues to go on and on with programs at Norfolk State as well as Delaware State, where Dr. Nolan Rawlings is. And so Thaddeus, you ready to roll also the beach cleanup, the showcase?
Actually, I'm having trouble locating it again. So yeah, I spoke too soon. I didn't have my hands on it when I spoke.
No worries. But I do want to just highlight the work that is being done, that you can get involved. We do advocacy work. We've done work in communities. I highlighted up at TSU the work that's being done. We do health, wellness, and competition, as well as addressing trauma. I know that we have Coach Mike on here with the work that we did up in Buffalo in partnership with USA Swimming up there. Do you want to give 2 seconds about that, Coach Mike, and the Buffalo Swim City project?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Mike Switalski, City Swim Project, Buffalo, New York. As many of you know, May 14th last year, a racist individual from about 3.5 hours away from Buffalo attacked one of our largely African-American communities in the city of Buffalo. As a program that is one of the most diverse in USA Swimming, and as a program that is primarily, well, it's about 75% African-American, it's our community. We have a lot of families that live right around the Tops Market that was attacked. And our initial donor to launch our program back in 2012, his mother was one of the victims. So we felt a very strong connection to what happened there. And fortunately enough, when I reached out to USA Swimming and to Miriam, they were able to rally our friends and help us encircle the community with love. Had a wonderful event. Had Thaddeus up here, Dr. Penn, a few members of USA Swimming, Cullen Jones, and we had about 19 mental health vendors show up as well to assist. And we had roughly, I want to say, about 100 people show up for the event. So I don't know if Thaddeus has any pictures of it at all, but you know, it was a good time for all. And we were fortunate enough for Fire Commissioner Garnell Whitfield, whose mother was the oldest one murdered in the massacre. He actually came and joined us for a while at the event. He was our first donor for our program.
Absolutely. And using water as a way of healing, making that connection. And thank you, Mike, for making that way into the community for us to be in that space. And we honor the individuals who were affected and the families that are affected and are still healing from that tragic event in the community. So thank you for that work that you were doing, and thank you for the partnership.
Thank you.
So I do want to just say, just have an opportunity. One of the things, you've heard some of the programs, you've heard about opportunities, the ways that Diversity in Aquatics moves in these spaces. But I do want to just allow a few minutes for our membership to connect with different individuals. We're going to open up some rooms, some breakout rooms, so that you can connect. So each of our council chairs that you heard from today are going to go into one of the different breakout rooms. So you can connect with them, introduce yourselves. You can ask them questions about the programs, or that you can have a chance to just highlight what your program, and thank you, Thaddeus, for sharing that, highlight your program in this space, and more. And so we will open up the breakout rooms for each of those councils, as well as any other breakout rooms. If you came here and you're like, hey, I would really want to know more about this in this space. I would love to get some assistance in here. I want to talk about this topic. Again, this is the chance. We call them lightning talks because they're quick talks. A chance to connect with membership, because we just don't have that chance. And we have this beautiful platform, Zoom, to be able to do that in this space. So we'll open up some breakout rooms. You can go to different ones. You can talk about, and we'll just open it up for a few minutes to go that. And then we'll come back here and conclude our meeting, our first membership meeting for today. Okay. Any questions by the group before we open up breakout groups for today? Okay, so I've opened up the breakout rooms. I would love our councils to be able to connect to, as well as our board members, to be able to go to each of the rooms that are there to support our different councils in this space. And then we'll come back here together after 5 minutes and having a chance to meet with those groups to close out today. So as you see people, you can go ahead and go to those rooms.
Hey, Miriam, the rooms are numbered, not named. Do we just type in any of them, or should we target a specific one if we knew what they were?
Yeah, so the first room is adapted. Our second room is with Virgil. He is a part of US Masters. We also have then room 3 will be Norman. And so he will be in that with triathlon. If you like to join the Triathlon Council. And then I'm going to put in room 4, Thaddeus, if you like to learn more about our Wellness Council. So you can connect with one of those. More than welcome. I'll stay here in the main room if anybody wants to ask me questions, or any of our board members that are remaining in this area, any questions about the programs, what kind of things are on your mind as we talk DEI in this space. It's great to see everyone here today.
Miriam, this is Scott. Is it okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hi, Scott.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Fine. I just want you to know I'm increasingly more and more impressed with this organization. I am not a member, but I will join. My question is, and I know that it's predominantly Diversity in Aquatics is predominantly focused on race, and it should be. Is there any way of opening it up in 2 different ways? And I don't know if either would be applicable for your overall mission or not. And one is lifeguarding, or maybe lifeguarding is interplayed with some other councils, because I'm very new to your organization, so I'm just asking. The other one I have is whether or not, because there is such a critical shortage of lifeguards out there, I am working on trying to get senior citizens and older people who are perhaps retired and so on to become lifeguards. And I'm slowly gaining some traction there. I started a Facebook group called Senior Lifeguards and things like that. So I don't know if that would fit under the auspices of this group or this organization. And I certainly would understand why it wouldn't, but I'm still, and also, how can I put this tactfully? I work currently as a lifeguard for Cleveland State University. Now, I am not speaking as a Cleveland State representative here. I'm speaking strictly for myself. I can't speak as a Cleveland State representative because I'm not allowed. I don't think I'm, that's just really stepping over bounds. But I have worked with a social work professor, and we are really trying to get a program to bring the local area, Cleveland State's an urban environment. And we're trying to see whether or not we could start swim lessons and so on for the people within a 5-mile radius of Cleveland State, which is predominantly African American. So that's another reason why I'm interested in this group. And actually, there are some professors at Cleveland State, and there's a diversity and inclusion office that is actually very interested in pursuing this. And I think it fits perfectly with what you guys are doing. So I just wanted to share those 3 with I think this is a great organization. It's so needed. And I was just curious, and again, I wanted to share what I'm doing at Cleveland State. You don't need to respond to it. But also whether or not there could be a council on lifeguarding, or if that's too specific, I certainly understand, or a council on senior citizens as part of the diversity. And I just wanted to ask, and if you need time to think about that, I don't need a response right away. I'm retired. I'm just an old guy, so.
No, you're not just us here. You're not just that's how it is, right? Diversity in Aquatics started off as an idea and has turned into what you see today. And so Tara has just put one of our board members her information into the chat. And
I see that. Yeah.
that's what it's about, right? So that connectiveness in this space. And she's doing amazing work out in Prince George's county up in
Yeah.
Southern Maryland. And we have actually have a partnership with the American Red Cross. And so as we are addressing it too, we're addressing it through our HBCU, HSI, and Tribal Council is addressing the lifeguard shortage, because
Great.
the goal is to train the future lifeguards. You're right. So I think you got another person. So Maya might be your second. It takes 3 to make a council. So we've got Scott, Maya. We just need a third person, and we could have a lifeguarding council. Look at that. See, Courtney.
Wow.
Thank you. So make sure to gather those names, share each other's information, submit the form for the council. Again, it goes through the process goes through our aquatic council, and then it goes up to our board for final approval. And so if that's, hey, we want to do specifically a lifeguarding council, to be honest, we kind of string it throughout, but if it's specific, write it up and let's go for it in this space. So absolutely. So that's number 1.
Okay. Yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt. Maya and Courtney, thank you for your support there. I'll share my email with the 2 of you on an individual chat if I could do that. And then maybe we could, if you guys could contact me, we could try to arrange something. So thank you. Please go ahead, Maria. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, this is what it's for, right? To make those connections as a group. So I love that. Hey, we might have on from next year, 2024, a lifeguarding council. Rock on. And there's a space for everyone in this, and that's the umbrella is Diversity in Aquatics. Our mission is, especially on historically marginalized communities, but that includes those who are the senior community and getting involved. So when you said, is there opportunities to connect to that? We actually connected the other day to a group as well. And then during April, through our team, we'll be highlighting Adult Learn to Swim and some great stories. I know one of our members came on and shared a great event that they're doing Learn to Swim for our more senior population, to say it's never too late to get involved. And then the opportunities that come from that.
That's great. That's just
Miriam,
terrific.
this is Newton.
Mhm.
And Scott, good suggestions. I would like to throw out there for you that there are seniors involved in all the councils.
Good.
Just about.
Okay.
Already. Just FYI, I mean, you might have heard Monica Lepore say that she's retired, and
I did.
I've known Monica 30 plus years, and we both have black hair, and I won't say we both have it now. I probably don't have it, but I think that there is a place for that. It just has to be thought through and how we would call that council for seniors, because it certainly is a ageism and all that is definitely a factor. They are part of the inclusiveness of what the bigger picture is. But I think we need to have some conversation on that. So feel free to talk it up and come with some ideas, and definitely reach out so we can see if we can morph that into something.
I so appreciate that feedback. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of elements to that. I mean, there are positives to hiring somebody old as a lifeguard in the sense that we don't even go back to school in August. I mean, you know,
right.
just this one. But I have found, and just as my own personal experience, it doesn't matter how old, it doesn't matter if you're married, it doesn't matter if you have kids. I just found that as I've gotten older, I guard now with a different sense of urgency, because I understand the implications if someone doesn't go home from their swimming day more than I have ever did, you know, as a kid, and what that means. And I think, you know, many older lifeguards can understand that. You have a different sense just through the maturity process of understanding you know, and also too, I feel like to prevent things before it happens, which is one of my credos as a lifeguard. I like to try to prevent things before they happen. And I could sense things that could happen. I'm willing to stand up to pool patrons and take whatever kind of stuff they want to throw at me because I'm older.
Statements, yes.
Yeah, right. So,
Sure.
I mean, there's just some really good things that could be done, I think, for older people, and especially if they're lifeguards. And the senior lifeguard Facebook group, they're on top of it. I mean, there are 70-year-olds and so on, and they're good. They're in good shape. They get the socialization.
Sure.
I mean, they put me to shame. I mean, they're really good lifeguards. So
yeah, back in '84, I was in IT in DC, and the very first class I taught, it was really a transfer when they were trying to go from advanced life saving to lifeguard training. It was the very first textbook and all. One of those senior guys was 50 years old, and he's a member of our group, Bruce Bradford. But I mean, he was 50, and I was amazed, 30 some years ago, 35 years ago, almost 40 now, I guess, in hindsight, that he took it all, did everything. I mean, he was in there for the hunt. And I was just like, wow, so, I mean, I agree with you. And I think that maybe that's a conversation with some of the seniors that we have to see how we can morph that into something of fruition to make it advantageous for others.
I'm open, and I look forward to dealing with whatever we could do to make this if it's possible to make it happen. I just wanted to.
Now, how long have you been in Cleveland State?
Well, I've been only lifeguarding there for the past couple of years now. I started lifeguarding there before I retired. I just retired.
They have a new pool, because I remember the old air barn. I actually coached the Howard team, and we flew out to Cleveland State, swam Cleveland State and Youngstown, and it was a big old barn pool. It was like an aircraft carrier. I think that building's gone now, I'm hoping.
Yeah, that might be a soccer
indoor
field
soccer field.
I'm wondering. Yeah, they have a pool now. The pool I guard at is 50 years old, so I don't want to date you.
Oh no, well, then I'm sure that's the same one. Without a doubt.
Maybe it is. I mean, it's a really I personally think it's a great pool. I'm not a really good judge of pools, but it does have the 25-yard 50. It's an Olympic-sized pool. Right. And the problem is that the infrastructure is 50 years old. So occasionally they have to shut it down and shut it down for a while. And it's currently shut down now until like April 10th, so they could, fix it up and do some repair. But, it's still a great pool, and I really like it. And then I lifeguarded in the summer at our public pool.
Well, like you said, that community around there certainly would be advantageous. I would think your VP of Student Affairs with the DEI VP would probably be the right group to. Some schools have community outreach and some don't, but that would be the win-win to.
The School of Social Work, I think, might be a good way of doing the community outreach.
Academic group. Okay.
Yeah, and we do have a College of Health, which is focusing on physical therapy and occupational therapy, and they, exercise science and others. And I think, they are also interested. So, I mean, there's a lot, and there is a diversity and inclusion office, and they're interested. So I'm hoping, I mean, there's only so much I could do. I mean, again, I'm just a part-time lifeguard.
I think an email to all those parties on one email string. You're just trying to sit them down in a room or a Zoom conference call and have a conversation. You'd be surprised.
Well, you're 100% right, because something similar did happen like that, and it is starting to gain some traction. It truly is. And I'll probably go on another email to them tonight, talking about. I did send an email about this call tonight to them, and I'll probably send another email.
Scott, I need to cut us off because we've dominated Miriam's period of time.
My apologies.
No, that's what we're here
I'm going to go on mute right now. I'm going to go.
All good.
This is good. I hope you each had discussions like this in your breakout room. I put into the chat If you didn't get information or you're seeking information from us as an organization, diversityinequatics.org is our main email address. We have someone that's manning it. We have Adrian Carter, who is manning our info at Diversity in Aquatics to help disperse information. So if you're seeking information or you're trying to reconnect, have questions, hey, I just want to ask this question about to the group, please feel free, email us at info at diversityinequatics.org. And she's in the background, you don't see her, but she's been doing a really great job. I love that people had thank you for sharing that. The wellness chat was so informative. We'd love to hear conversations like that for a group. So going on for our meeting is a couple of things. How do you get involved? How do you get further involved with Diversity in Aquatics? One, follow us on social. All the information that is coming out is being shared on our social media networks. We're doing live chats at First Fridays at 6 p.m. We're doing those to connect. Our next one is our HBCU, HSI, and Tribal Council that is doing that. And they're talking about HBCUs, HSIs, and tribal institutions in that space. So make sure you follow us on all social media networks. Also, register for our monthly newsletter. We have exciting news happening this year. I know it was addressed about our membership. We are getting, that is in the work in the background for us to be launched, but you won't hear about it unless you join and register for our monthly newsletter. Our monthly newsletter is where we put out calls like this. We're having our next membership meeting. It's also where you'll see, hey, we're going to be in your area. As we do different programming all over the country, you'll get access to volunteer opportunities, recaps, even maybe some drops and some prizes that we're doing in the upcoming months. So make sure, if you haven't yet, go to our website. And I'll have Adrian, if you could put our website, diversityinequatics.org, into the chat. You can go to that, sign up for our newsletter. That's the first place our social media team is pushing out from the newsletter information in this space through the newsletter. It's also where you'll see that next big exciting news that we're going to share coming up in May. Okay, so make sure to do that. And then, of course, hopefully you got a chance to connect to our councils, or you're thinking about starting one. I heard about 2 today in our main chat room that could be possibly starting up. So please make sure, join a council, connect with our council chairs. They're looking for assistance in the work that they're doing. They can't do it alone, and we can't do it without them. And we can't do it without especially you. So please make sure to join them or start one, and you can submit it, we review it, and then that council will start for 2024. Okay, next events that are coming up: April 7th, First Fridays, HBCU, HSI, I talked about that council. April 13th, our partners at USA Swimming, we are doing Water Safety 201. We already did Water Safety 101 with the group. And I'm not sure, Noah, if you want to highlight anything with that from USA Swimming. We greatly thank our partnership through USA Swimming. For those that don't know, we do have partners with USA Swimming to do things such as we did in Buffalo. We just got done with the TYR Pro Series event, where we got to see some Olympians swim and highlight it for the community and seeing what's the future of aquatics look like. And I thank Thaddeus and Noah for leading that charge, as well as the membership in South Florida for being a part of that effort. So we're going to do a webinar talking about water safety. So if you're looking about doing a water safety festival and want to know more information about how to do a water safety festival, tune into that webinar, Water Safety 201, because we're going to talk about tools and how to really connect with communities and do some of the programs that we've done across the country. Then highlighted in May, we're going to be out in California. Some people have said, Diversity in Aquatics, where are you at? Where's our West Coast friends? We've got a number of people out here. I am so excited of the efforts being led by our board in this space, because what we're going to be able to do and fundraise in LA is going to be able to reciprocate down to our grassroots effort. Diversity in Aquatics has donated over 2,000 suits to HBCUs and different community groups across the country. And so a lot of that effort takes fundraising efforts. We've also got equipment from our partners, the American Red Cross. So we thank our partners at American Red Cross for being able to do that, but we need to do more. We can do more. And that is what we are going to be advocating for on our May 6th, the Ripple Effect party out in LA. So come with your dancing shoes, come ready to have fun out in LA. More information will be shared. We also like to thank our partners, Speedo, for the work that they are doing and helping us to spread the word about the Ripple Effect and several other programs that are happening across the country in partnership with us, USA Swimming, and others. May 15th, as Dr. Laporte talked about, is our International Water Safety Day. We do this in partnership with the International Water Safety Foundation. This year, a large effort is being done in Chicago, but we're all over the country. We have, in partnership with the International Water Safety Foundation, we've reached 1 million families with the water safety message, because water safety, International Water Safety Day, you don't have to be at a pool to celebrate it. You can get resources and information from the website, International Water Safety Day. And I'll have Adrian put that into our chat. So International Water Safety Day, there's a number of resources. My school, what we did, read the Water Safety Day rules. You got a sticker. All right. Thank you, Noah. And Thaddeus, do you want to talk about International Water Safety Day, what you guys did in South Florida?
I don't want to hog the space here. South Florida, we got a lot, we have a lot of different things going on down here, so we're fortunate to have access to the beach and the pool, and we try to take advantage of the weather and the interest down here. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted at the moment. So you take it away, Miriam. I'm a little distracted.
It's okay. You guys must have had a really great discussion in the Wellness Council, so I love it. But thank you for highlighting, but International Water Safety Day is celebrated everywhere. Connect to schools, connect to your community, Boys and Girls Club. The way that International Water Safety Day is, oh, yes, please share those. Are the chance for you as an aquatics group to connect to community without the need of water. We don't drive a car and know how to be safe in a car, but we expect to be at a pool to be safe in a pool. With International Water Safety Day, there's a number of resources that are shared on the website, and those resources have lessons that you can do, as well as other resources, flyers, more that you can share at schools. In addition, if you go to Diversity in Aquatics, we have a coloring book at the bottom as a resource. So if you're looking to go into schools, you can order the coloring book. It's called The Colors of Aquatics. Talks about water safety, and have that to share with your audience about as a way to, let's start the awareness there with water safety. Okay, and so those are all different pieces that you can do on International Water Safety Day. We've had many groups that have gone and done so much in that space. They've gone and read a book, one of their favorite aquatic books, to classrooms. We've had where different organizations have invited and partnered with your local fire department, or they've partnered with a scuba group or a triathlon group in your area to advocate for water safety and reach more communities about it. So that's happening on May 15th. Hopefully you can join us. If you're going to do something for International Water Safety Day, tag us. We want to showcase the work that you're doing. So make sure you tag us at Diversity in Aquatics on all social media platforms, and we are glad to share that on May 15th. For us, we'll be taking a large contingency up to Chicago. We're going to take over Chicago. We're working with the Chicago Public Schools and the Chicago Parks and Rec, and we thank them, as well as our partners, USA Swimming, International Water Safety Foundation, and American Red Cross for that effort. It's been a large collaborative group that's working together, and we are doing that in that space. So we're going to take over the city of Chicago. You can do something similar in your city if you like, to take over your city as well. And then also we're doing, so that's International Water Safety Day. Susan, I love it. Yes, you're speaking my language. You're going to advocate that with your city council. It's a great way. We did South Florida, Thaddeus, and a group, Lieutenant Ken Rowland. They did a resolution on International Water Safety Day several years ago to address that. There are so many things that you can do, but make sure as you're doing things, tag us. We love to show what you're doing. Then on June 19th, we'll be doing Juneteenth for Joy in South Florida. We'll be partnering with a number of organizations to highlight that. And then our next membership meeting is June 29th. And so with that, we want to hear from you on the different things. These are our partners that have helped us to do so much. If you haven't yet, go up to Philly. The exhibit, the pool project, is open in Philly. It's a wonderful arrangement of the social history that has led us to the disparities we see today. We thank our partners and a number of them in this space for what they've done in advocacy and helping us to promote water safety, do water safety festivals, and more. So here's our next meeting. What do you want to see? What do you want to chat about? Again, we're a membership-driven organization. This first one was us just trying to do an introduction, but what do you want to see the next time? So go ahead in the chat and say, what would you like us to do for our next one, June 29th? Earth Day, yes, Susan, we are highlighting Earth Day, FYI, next month. There's a number of, it's actually National Diversity Month, April. It is also Adult Learn to Swim Month. And so, and we're gonna be highlighting Earth Day. So thank you, we love that, thank you. There you go. It should be, I'm gonna start sharing. So continue to tell us in the chat. If you're not sure yet, and if you think of it, again, I'm gonna put in the chat, excuse me. Yes, go ahead, Susan.
How many of the coloring books are in stock? I did not know that existed, and I just took a look. And I'm just want to grab a bunch of them to have at our table when we table at Earth Day with Climate Reality Project. Because we're going to be in an area not too far from the beach in Boynton Beach, and we need everybody to know about international, we're going to cross-pollinate like that. So how many books are there available to buy?
We've got
You think?
quite a few. So I just put in an email, info@Diversity In Aquatics. Tell us how much you're looking for. And we'll see if we can match that inventory for you.
Oh, thank you.
No, we love it. There's many resources out there. If you check out our resources as well, beyond that, again, coloring book is an awesome way to engage youth, families, to have the conversation about water safety in a fun, amazing way. I'd like to just say thank you to Dr. Tiffany Quash and Tasha Quash. They were the one who created this story of Leo, the turtle going through his water safety journey. Okay, it's 9:30 on the dot. Please join us for our next webinar. It will be with our HBCU Council at 6 p.m. It'll be on Facebook Live, and we'll make sure that you'll see it on our socials. I just want to say so much how grateful we are. This is something that new for us as an organization to do, an all membership meeting like this. But thank you, thank you, thank you. For being here, being present, and thank you for the work that you're doing. We know it's not easy, but you're not alone. Know that you being here are a part of a larger family. So thank you all and have a great night. We'll stick around if you have any questions for us.
Awesome meeting.